What made my dad return $500,000 in cash to a stranger? My dad found $500,000 in a duffel bag behind the dumpster at his construction site. Cash, bundled in tens of thousands with rubber bands. He brought it home and showed me and Mom. We sat at the kitchen table staring at more money than we'd see in 10 lifetimes. We're keeping it, right? I asked. Dad was already on his laptop typing something. No. Dad, that's $500,000. We could pay off the house, my student loans, Mom's medical bills. No. Mom touched his arm. Frank, maybe we should think about this. There's nothing to think about. The next morning, Dad drove to a motel on the outskirts of town. I followed him because I needed to understand why he was throwing away our chance at a better life. He knocked on room 237. A man answered, skinny, sweating, eyes darting everywhere. Dad handed him the duffel bag. The man opened it and started crying, actually sobbing while counting the bundles. Thank you, thank you. You don't understand what you've done. Dad just nodded and walked back to his truck. The man didn't offer a reward. Dad didn't ask for one. Why? I asked when we got home. Not our money. But how did you know whose it was? I made some calls. What calls? To who? Dad went to the garage to work on his bike. Conversation over. I spent the next week trying to figure it out. The man at the motel had checked out. Dad wouldn't tell me anything else. You gave away our future, I said at dinner. No, I didn't. Mom needs treatment. Real treatment. Not the cheap clinic. We'll manage. With what? Your back is killing you. You can barely work. That money could have saved us. Dad put down his fork. That money would have killed us. What does that mean? He wouldn't answer. I started researching, looking up news stories about missing money, bank robberies, casino heists. Nothing matched. Then I found it. A small article from 3 weeks ago. A kidnapping in Michigan. 8-year-old boy taken from his yard. Ransom demand of $500,000. Family paid, but boy never returned. I showed Dad the article. Is this it? He kept eating his sandwich. Dad, was that ransom money? Does it matter? Yes. That man kidnapped a child. No, he didn't. Then why did he have the money? Dad sighed and pushed his plate away. His son was taken. He paid the ransom. They didn't return the boy. Killed him anyway. So the man tracked down the kidnappers, took his money back, and more. He killed them? I don't know. Don't want to know. But if he killed them, then he's a murderer. He's a father. I stared at Dad. You'd do the same thing? In a heartbeat. So you gave a murderer back his blood money? I gave a father back the money he paid trying to save his son. What he did after they killed his boy isn't my business. The police would arrest him for surviving the worst thing that can happen to a parent. We didn't talk about it for a month. Then the news broke. 3 men arrested in connection with the Michigan kidnapping. They'd turned themselves in, said they were scared someone was hunting them. The father was never mentioned. The money was never mentioned. Dad was in the garage when I found him. You knew he'd scare them into confessing. I knew a father who lost his son wouldn't stop until he got justice. You gave him back his power. I gave him back his money. What he did with it was his choice. The kidnappers are alive, in custody. Good. Prison is worse than death for child killers. I thought about what I would do if someone took my future kid. The rage, the emptiness, the need for justice. How did you know? How did you know whose money it was? Dad looked at me for a long time. Then he pulled out his phone and showed me a photo. 3 men at a bar. One was the skinny man from the motel. That's him in the middle. Who are the other 2? My brother and me, 30 years ago. Uncle Pete, but he died when I was a baby. He died looking for his daughter. She was taken. We paid everything we had. They killed her anyway. Dad, that man lost his son the same way I lost my niece. The same way Pete lost everything. I recognized the look, made some calls, found out about the Michigan kidnapping, did the math. So you gave him what Uncle Pete never got, a chance. The kidnappers got life sentences. The father was never charged with anything. The money was never recovered officially.